Hi everyone, welcome to the review retro for Sprint 46 and the forecast for Sprint 47 of TinaCMS, Tina Cloud Projects. The sprint goal was to fix the Vercel data caching issue, which was retaining fetch requests. Jack, could you please speak to this one?
Yes, so I guess the root issue was we'd moved away from an old package that was polyfilling fetch for the browser to actual native fetch. And in Next, and it's essentially Vercel products, they overwrite the fetch on their side and add a lot of caching logic to it. So that was the kind of the reason why we saw, the query requests count going down, and we saw the Vercel cache hits going up. Now the fixes for this have been documented both in a blog and actually in the documentation, and that's kind of where we've left it at the moment. For the next 15 users, this won't actually be an issue. So next 14.
All right. Well, can I tell you how happy I am to see a green tick next to this one. I do think it's important to do a retro on this because I think what we need to do now, you've changed, well, you've indirectly got rid of polyfill. Now you're on Tina's native. You're on Vercel's native caching. We need to communicate that to our Canary clients. Okay, let's just say SSW, the website, and other teams. Maybe some other key clients, and get them on that and check that all okay before we publish a week later. Like, there's got to be, because in this case it felt like there was a bug with Tina when there wasn't, but there was definitely a communication bug. If the caching could be impacted, then I think we need to make sure that people get a warning.
Yeah, in the situations where we'd expect there to be a change, that would definitely be the case.
Right.
For this one, it was an unintended. It was unexpected. Put it that way.
Right. Okay. All right.
Like,
okay.
we were fixing. Yeah, we were removing a potential security issue by not using a polyfill library because the browser had native support for it. So it was all best intentions.
Right.
Vercel does some stuff under the hood that we didn't expect.
But this won't be the last unintended
side
effect. So we might want to set up a system that people are getting it, and as soon as there's any issue at all, we hold off deploying the latest version of Tina. Could just, like in this case, deploying it with a blog post would have been awesome.
Jack, how many months ago did we deploy that change for the changing the fetch?
Quite a few. quite a few.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's a great question, Nick, because I thought it only happened 3 weeks ago. I thought it was 2.7. Right. Okay.
And in addition, it's not like just one of us just snuck it in. This was one that Jack authored, Brooke approved, and I merged.
Right.
So,
okay. All right. All right. Yeah. Thanks for that context, Nick. Yeah, I think I had the timing off. All right.
but yeah, the final thing to note, Kelly was the one that pinpointed the issue. So kudos to him for that one.
Awesome.
So sprint duration was 1 week. There were 112 hours build on Tina Cloud by Brooke, Matt, and myself. And for TinaCMS, 40 hours build by Jack and Kelly. We've discussed the sprint goal. Kelly has also fixed an issue with branch not found error for editorial workflow. So this is just a case where you'd have a branch which was deleted and the system was not reverting back to the default branch correctly. That will be included in the next release, which is intended either this afternoon or tomorrow. Matt, you also worked on a security issue with regards to organization name length.
Yeah, we had a security report from NX, the third party, and they submitted that you could create organizations with an unlimited org length, which would then obviously just increase the amount of data flowing back and forth. So I've patched that up. So we've got a limit of 100 characters, and I've patched up the ability. A similar thing existed on project names. So that's been standardized to a single validator, and just 100 characters is more than enough.
You also set an AI tool on this one?
Yeah, so I decided I wanted to play around with Copilot agents. So I used that and was absolutely blown away because it was like I gave it a decent prompt and it one-shotted it. Well, I one-shotted with one prompt, but it would write a bit of code, it would run it, it would notice some errors, it would then write a bit more code and then do research and then fix up things, and it bounced around back and forth. So it was actually interesting to watch its like quote unquote thought process on how it was going about it. But I was really happy with the results, and then just had to do some cleanups. But it wrote tests and did a whole bunch of stuff. I was really impressed.
Moving on to
Hey, sorry, I just walked past and heard that, and that's the coolest thing I've heard all week.
Yeah, so it's Copilot agents with Sonnet 3.7 thinking.
Yeah, it makes sense. That's so cool.
It was insane.
Turn that into a short and put it up on.
Moving on to burn down and dashboard, effort 24 completed, 30 remaining open for the sprint. On to production deployments. We had 2 deployments for TinaCloud. There were no releases for TinaCMS. Last version was 2.7.2, released on the 28th of February. As discussed, intention is to release the next version either this afternoon or tomorrow. Testing dependent. Application health overview, identity API HTTP 500s decreased from 31 to 16. Content API HTTP 500s decreased from 5,100 to 2,240. Accounts created decreased from 184 to 165. Trend of organizations created over the last 30 days does show a slight downward trend. Sign up to commit conversions have increased from 9.8% to 14.6%. Over the last 2 weeks, unique cloners of the Tina Barebones starter repository have decreased from 74 to 67. Unique cloners of the TinaCloud starter repository over the same period have decreased from 216 to 176. And unique cloners of the Tina self-hosted demo has remained constant at 43. Package downloads by week have decreased from 15,543 to 14,690, most likely cause being that we did not deploy during the sprint. In terms of epics, we have seen TinaCMS tech debt increase from 66 to 83%, and improved database performance for TinaCloud has improved from 12% to 25%.
Do you think you could take a moment just now to pull up the roadmap, which is obviously a little different from this, but I just wanted you to see some changes that I just saw Matt Wicks put through. So go to tina.io/roadmap and you'll see that he's thrown a few changes there.
It will be on that preview branch that you're on at the moment.
Oh, it's not live?
It's not live yet.
Okay, all right, may as well have a look at it before it is live then. Why isn't it live?
So I haven't gotten around to making the changes we discussed.
Oh, fair enough. There's a good, yep.
Am I in the right section?
Yeah.
And
Top one, not
top
Chinese.
one.
Yeah, so the roadmap has changed a little. Put some green ticks on there as done. And he's put a new section there called working on it now. So he's saying, all right, so what we're doing now is performance stuff, React 19, and Kelly is improving the media management. So I think that's broadly accurate. Jack, do you think it's worth putting in the Markdown editor updates, or it's just that's business as usual updates?
Inside of TinaCMS have like what's changed type of thing.
Like, I don't know. Like, obviously, if you're going to expand what Markdown is allowed, then that's a feature that people are asking for it. But if all those changes you're making to the Markdown editor are just run-of-the-mill updates, then it doesn't need a mention.
I think personally, there's probably a bit of discussion around that. I think that we would need to see. I feel like if we're doing a change that we add a bit of, I'm going to call it bloat to the end product stuff, then it should just be a discussion, and we can see, hey, does the community want this? Like, hey, you guys will get some benefit. We'll tell you what's new. But we just added a little thing. But,
You're adding updates to Plate and Slate. Is it going to give users new features that they've been asking for?
Oh, I mean, yeah, definitely. Obviously, React 19 is the biggest outcome of that. But there are a lot of plugins inherently that we can then implement. I guess like the biggest one would be the AI stuff that Plate has added recently. So we could get AI for content stuff, for content writing, which I'm sure a lot of people would be happy with.
So if that's the case, then you could add one that said Markdown editor with plugin support, and then when you finish that part is done, right? So just think of the end user, what they're getting. Anyway, keep going down the page, and we've put the AI tooling and docs template and our editorial workflow stuff down there. Although I'm hoping that docs template gets done by NDC Melbourne, so that might end up being done and moved up. So, Josh, if you think that needs to be moved up from there to working on it now, then tell Wixie.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. Let's keep going.
We didn't do experimental work during the sprint. Moving on to the sprint retrospective and what went well.
Just before we do that, can we just add a heading in there? Just AI tools. Can I just ask, in the last sprint, Jack, what AI tool have you used the most? Copilot, ChatGPT, Cursor, what?
Probably ChatGPT.
Okay. All right, Brooke, you?
I haven't used AI for programming this sprint that I know of.
Okay. And what do you last sprint?
I think I used GPT last to write a CLI tool.
Right. Okay. Nick?
I used the GitHub Copilot for a couple of bits while writing some tests.
Okay. Do you know what Kelly's using?
Not a clue.
Okay. Wixie?
Like I said before, Copilot agents.
Yep. Okay. So I think what I would ask every person on the Tina team to do is look at Mish's email and try it out. So for the next sprint, definitely try out GitHub Copilot and let us know if you didn't like it. But you should at least have tried it.
Moving on to sprint retrospective, what went well? Matt?
Yeah,
Talk
so
about the
finding the
root
root cause for why Vercel was caching things was killer.
Jack, Discord?
Yeah, so again, we had a pretty active week, which was good to see. And yeah, I mean, it's a lot of the same questions, so maybe there is room for improvement, or we can just use AI to link them the documentation. But It's simple enough to just link them anyway.
And then Matt's also noted that we've made progress on the database performance. As to what didn't go so well, Matt, did you want Jack to talk to the branch switching issue that we're seeing?
Yeah, I mean, it was just a bit of a curveball because that wasn't on our radar, and Aman reported that last week. So essentially what's happening is when people are using editorial workflow, some requests are going to the main branch as opposed to the feature branch that they're on, and they're not seeing content updates, which that absolutely sucks. So that's going to be a focus for next sprint.
As discussed, that will be the focus for next sprint. And Matt, you've also included some documentation issues for the next sprint.
Yeah, I just want to improve the docs on some new features that we shipped, and just overall improve things.
Right. Can you be specific on the documentation issues?
Yeah, the Vercel. So we've got a blog post on the Vercel data cache support, which I'm going to be improving. We've also, like on the roadmap, we shipped GitHub Enterprise support. So I'm going to be adding docs for that.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, if you could record a short video, I think I had asked Josh to do it, but he's doing stuff for TinaCon in Melbourne. Just sync up and maybe even do it together. Who knows? Brooke, did you have any highlights or lowlights?
Thinking about it while this was running, I didn't want to interrupt, but I helped Nick with automating some of the workflows for the sprint reviews. I wrote some CLI tools to help Nick scrape data quicker.
Really?
Hmm.
Are you saying this email is AI generated?
No, there's no AI. Just using the npm API to retrieve package downloads and then automating some of the issue creations through the GitHub API.
Oh, very cool. Okay. Anything didn't go so well for you?
I've been having a little bit of an issue with the login, redirect login issue, but I've got to call with Kelly tomorrow to work through some of those issues with him.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay.
Moving on to the 47 sprint forecast. The sprint goal.
Can I just, before we get into this, I want to pick everyone's brain. We currently have a mission of getting SSW rules onto Tina, and we also will change that from Gatsby to next.js or Astro or something. I was thinking of, now we also have a site, SSW people, right? And does anyone think that it would be worthwhile moving SSW people to next.js or Astro with Tina? So that would be like whatever we do there, we might copy for the website, or sorry, not the website, for the rules, or we might just have it just done differently on, say, Astro, where we have one on Astro and one on next.js. Can I just quickly, just a show of hands, I guess, can you just use the hand icon in Teams? Who would want people? I guess the three choices are, it's definitely moving to Tina. So people on Astro will be the first one. Just Astro or Next or leave it. I think they're the three. So who would say Christian should be leaning towards Astro? Can you just put a show of hands? I got one for Astro. Who would say move it to Next? Wixie, Gert, Josh, Steph, and Brooke. Okay, so that's most. Who would say don't touch it for the moment, have Christian work on other things we don't need to do right now? And that would be only Brooke and Josh say park it for a while. And Nick says park it as well. So Christian, do you have any thoughts on this topic? You've already investigated Astro, and have you investigated Next as well, or just Astro?
Just sort of Astro. Yeah, because otherwise we're going to have all our products on next.js, so we won't have any example of Astro.
There are benefits for having everything on Next because the transition from site to site can become seamless.
Oh, you're talking about the experience for the end user?
Yeah.
You think that they would notice whether they're going from Next to Astro?
No, the way that Next, there's some docs on Vercel about this, but if you break down your sites into mini sites, similar to what we're doing, the transition between like Next.js app to Next.js app becomes seamless. So when you do click on like you're on the website, you click on a people profile, it doesn't go through that full page reload. It's more instant than anything else.
Right. Jack, you're a dissenter. Can I get your thoughts?
I mean, we've already, I mean, for rules, this discussion went on for months about what framework we're going to choose, and we did say we were going with Next for rules. But for people, I think Astro is hip and cool, and I think we should branch out, even if it does take a bit more time and is a bit more painful. We'll at least know what it's like to use Astro with Tina. I think it'd be just a good example, hopefully, of using Tina and Astro as well.
Do you think that it's worth parking it for a couple months to see if anything like comes up to change people's opinions, or have we waited long enough? Like Gatsby is still working. We're not in as a massive rush, but I am very keen on getting this. We've got to do something. So I think, does anyone feel strongly on this topic? No one feels strongly. Wow.
The only strong feeling I'd have is like the only other thing would be take people and integrate it into the website. Just move all that stuff over.
Take people and integrate into the website.
Yeah.
Are you thinking take the website, the SSW website team, and just put them on this problem? And obviously they have next experience.
Move the content from SSW people to SSW website, and then it's just a collection inside the website. Because at the moment we sync between. So the website does a sync of people profiles anyway, and we could remove that moving part.
Maybe you might have forgotten, but SSW people itself, it is an open source project that other people can grab. Not that they have, but I think they haven't because we've tied it so far into CRM. And it's not a common thing that people would take anyway. So, but yeah, that I would plan on keeping that on its lonesome as a separate thing. Yeah, I'm definitely on the fence. I feel like doing this in Astro just to see if that changes direction for SSW rules. Like if it's awesome, we would definitely say, all right, SSW rules should be on Astro, not Next. But Next is definitely the industry leader, and we typically have never made a wrong step just following the big guy. Okay. Anyway, we'll park that for next sprint, and we will talk about it the next sprint, and hopefully we'll have had a bit more to discuss about it. So, all right, let's continue.
Moving to the Sprint 47 forecast, the sprint goal will be to fix the GraphQL fetching issue with different branches in CMS that Matt mentioned earlier. This is a 1-week sprint. Review to be conducted on the 25th of March. So in addition to the sprint goal, we also have some work on documentation as well as bug fixes.
Right. There's one thing that stands out as missing from that, and I think this is for you, Jack. I think we've got to definitely have a link for what Markdown is supported and what is not. Do you agree? on our doc?
Isaac's already working on that.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yep.
All right. So that's going to get done. Okay,
Yep.
great.
The summary of this meeting will be uploaded to the TinaCMS YouTube channel. Catch you all next week.
Thanks, Nick. Cheers.